the greatest con job in America, maybe even in the whole world, was to convince black people that they were not Americans. That if they become Democrats, they could have a life. That you are an African American, but you're not an American. And to convince black people to vote for Democrats is the greatest con job ever been obtained by any person in the world. Think about this. We've just celebrated Memorial Day. Do you have any idea how Memorial Day came about? It came about from freed slaves who saw a tragedy at the end of the war, of the Civil War. Thousands of bodies were still not taken care of and buried in a grave. These restored slaves back to humanity took their time and found these people, white, black, didn't matter, after the Civil War, and made grave sites for them and buried them with dignity and respect. This was behind a racetrack. And in this racetrack was many people that was left there unattended, dead. And these black Americans, now freed Americans, said, no, let's do something about this. And they made graves, beautiful graves. And then they prayed for each one and celebrated and had the children singing songs. And every year they would have a parade and children singing and preachers preaching to celebrate this great victory in America. And the Democrats found a way to convince the African Americans that this was not their holiday. This was the white man's holiday. So therefore, you see a lot of blacks getting drunk, hanging out. That ain't my holiday. I ain't gonna do it. It didn't give me no freedom. With no sense of education, no understanding at all. And it was the Democrats that they would have been in control of slavery still to this day if we had not won the Civil War. And when they didn't win the Civil War, they created the first and greatest terrorist group ever was in America, and that's the Ku Klux Klan. And then Jim Crow. It was the Republicans. Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president that freed the slaves. And we still somehow think that the spots on the leopards would change if we just, stroke them on the head and say, Yassa, boss. It's amazing to me. This beautiful holiday that was set aside because the leadership finally understood the value of celebrating this day through the freed slaves' actions of respecting the dead after the Civil War. I tell you, folks, if it had not been for God on the side of the Union soldiers, we'd be still in chains. The one thing I give us credit for, we stole Jesus from the slave master. And we were not allowed to worship. We were not allowed to read the Bible. But somehow on Sunday, we would sneak up to the window and listen to the sermon and come back in the evening after the master has gone to bed. call the slaves in a huddle group and preach that same sermon, but put a hoop to it and say, God is on our side. Jesus is our liberator. Have faith, and we can move mountains. America is great, but America is only great because of the people that's in it is great. We need to stop trying to be white or black, or some special DNA that we have, or something lack of a DNA that we don't have, and we try to be like this one and that one, and all we need to be is godly, caring, loving, kind. Doesn't matter. There's no black people. I've said this before. There's no white people. It's just God's people. None of us would be living if we stopped inhaling and exhaling. The Bible is saying God breathed the breath of life into man and it became a living soul. So without the breath of God, we are nothing at all, period. You're not a Republican or Democrat. You're not a Catholic or a Jew. You're not a Pentecostal or Seventh Adventist or any religion you can think of. You're none of that, if not for God breathing in you. I love you all. Let's celebrate this day. God bless America. Hallelujah. Land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light of above. God bless you. Love you.